Hello, my name is Peter Villarreal. Welcome to Carnes Brothers Funeral Home. Come on in.
Welcome to Carnes Brothers Funeral Home. This is my brother Rusty.
And this is my brother Mike. Today we'd like to show you our funeral home that was founded in 1990. Welcome. Thank you for joining us today, for taking a little bit of your time, allowing us to show you our funeral facility here in Galveston Island, which was founded in 1990 by my brother and myself. In designing our funeral home, we tried to make it spacious so that there'd be room for everybody, so that nobody would have to worry about stumbling over somebody else. Most funeral homes that you go to, you might find that they are small, that their ceilings are low, and it feels closed in. This was purposely designed with those things in mind to not do them like they were always done. We designed this funeral home first with our lobby. You'll notice that our ceilings are tall when you come in. An architect that helped us design this told us that there's no replacing a tall ceiling, that people like tall ceilings. Short ceilings make people feel claustrophobic and closed in and not as comfortable. So we made our ceilings tall. You'll notice that we use coffer beams in the ceiling to give it more of that grand mansion look. We designed it to actually look like a hotel lobby, because people feel comfortable in a hotel, whereas they don't feel comfortable in a funeral home. The coffer beams are adorned with dental mold. That dental mold was hand cut and placed a piece at a time by artisans specifically chosen to do the work. Along with the decorative statues along the upper wall, our ceiling is one of our proudest features in the funeral home that goes with our large lobby. Our lobby also has plenty of very comfortable furniture to set on so that your guests, as they are here, feel comfortable. We've also covered the walls of the funeral home with wainscoting. This wainscoting is a wood product, obviously, that is hard. So it keeps the walls cleaner over a longer period of time so that our facility is always clean for you and your friends when they have the need to come here. We also have placed in the lobby many statues of works of art made out of marble and bronze. Those were put here not only for the decorative purposes, but that it might be used to teach, especially the young kids when they come in here with their families on funerals. These statues have significant meaning throughout history, and we believe that the children will be able to learn something while they're here, not just be here because they have to be here. When the funeral home was first established, we had a dedication, and the ministers from all over Galveston County came and blessed us with a dedication service. The lady who used to own Galveston Bible Bookstore, she was a fixture in Galveston for 70 years, Lorraine Alfred, presented us this Bible, and it was dedicated here at the beginning in 1990 and has remained here ever since. Some other features of the funeral home are restrooms directly in the lobby so that nobody has to hunt for a restroom. We also have various large pieces of artwork and furniture that can occupy people's time. As I said previously, it's not just for decoration. It's to give a sense of comfort and peace and to take your attention off of your mind off of the very hard tasks that are faced when someone loses a loved one. Another feature in our lobby is a ship, the Queen Mary. When Mike and I were young, we loved to go to Rosenberg Library on the upper floor where they have many models of ships. Galveston being a seafaring community, it's a large part of the economy here as well as people's lives because families over the decades have worked in the shipping industry. And we thought this would be a good thing to use to educate children and also occupy them while mom and dad are taking care and receiving their guests that come for the visitations. What child doesn't love a ship? We certainly did, and we thought it would be good for the next generation. Down here, you'll see our 1861 replica of a Justin hearse, horse-drawn hearse. This was built by the same company that has the oldest company in the United States. They build all the horse-drawn carriages that you might see around on places like the Riverwalk or down on the Strand. They still build them today, and they built this 1861 copy for us. It is requested many times for services here in Galveston, and we're happy to accommodate our guests and our customers with the ability to have a horse-drawn hearse on their service. Galveston being somewhat of a sister city to New Orleans, that feel of the horse-drawn hearse has a lot of meaning to people who are here. If you'll notice inside, there's an Italian casket that was imported from Italy to place in there. We do not use these particularly in the United States anymore because of the size, but in Italy they still use them. And we thought this would be something unique to teach, once again, to teach the younger generation about how things were done. You notice over here in the corner, this New York pipe organ that was left to us by Lorraine Alfred, also of the Bible bookstore here in Galveston. Her father brought it here when he immigrated early in the 1800s. It's one of our most cherished antiques. As we turn and go to our side hallway here, this hallway is meant for extreme comfort, especially for our elderly guests. A typical visitation lasts about 3 hours, and so setting in just a pew might be a little much on an elderly person, so we provided a place that is comfortable with very large furniture that is kind of out of the loud mix where everybody might gather. It's also to the side of our side chapel here, which is used for visitations and services that are more intimate, of about 100 people. If you'll notice, the one thing that we offer at Carnes Brothers Funeral Home is handicap accessibilities. All our restrooms are built from the beginning to be handicap accessible, as well as our facility. As entering the front of the facility, you may have noticed that we're at ground level, and the parking is directly outside the front door. So people do not have to try to figure out how to get in your facility. There's wheelchairs are easily rolled straight through the front door without having to go through ramps or upstairs or climb any type of thing that would encumber a handicapped person, whether they be on a walker or in a wheelchair. We are proud of our most handicap accessible facility. In this chapel over here, this is where I was mentioning that you could have a more intimate setting. It's also used for the times of visitation, the night before the main service that typically takes place the next morning or next afternoon, where your guests would come and be able to greet you in a room that is more adequate for that type of situation. We do not have small visitation rooms, as many funeral homes have people laid out in small rooms. We don't do that here. We have nice sized rooms for everybody to use, whether they are for a visitation or a funeral service. We also have pianos in this room, as well as an organ. The PA equipment, sound system works here, as well as the video production system that we have for our guests. And an overflow with a hallway that is joined to it. We'll move down here to our arrangement office. This is where families come when they are ready to talk about what types of services that they were interested in for their loved one. As we move to our arrangement office, this is the room that is used when families come to actually make the arrangements, whether it be before the need or after the need has taken place. We have a large dining room table so that it might offer more comfort to a family being in their own dining room. We do have our caskets and our urns in the same room so that a family does not have to wander all over the funeral home looking for the items that they would like to choose to be a part of their funeral service, memorializing and honoring their loved ones. We have very nice hardwood caskets. This casket over here is the casket is just like the casket that President Ronald Reagan was buried in. It's one of the more nicer ones. We also have on this side, this casket's called the presidential. This is the type of casket that President Kennedy was buried in. Today, a lot of people choose cremation for their final disposition. Even though people choose cremation, they still have services at first. And we have the option to rent a casket to have your loved one laid out in. After the cremation takes place, if you choose cremation, there are many choices in urns, whether they be keepsakes, heart keepsakes, and something that's very popular today is cremation jewelry, where a small portion of the cremains are placed in this, and there may be several members of the family. They're all kind of designs, hearts, angels, crosses. There is no limit to the designs in jewelry today, but the cremains are put in there and everybody's able to keep just a little bit of their loved one close to their heart. This has become a very popular item in the cremation industry today. Like I said, we have urns in every shape and size and color for your choosing, whether they be made out of brass or Koyfman. They're made out of marble for presentation, and also out of wood. Many of our wooden urns are handcrafted specifically for us. We have many of the standard type wooden urns, but we also have many specifically handcrafted wooden urns made specifically for us. One of our urns that I find very interesting in telling you that urns are made out of most anything today is this fireman's fire extinguisher. It's made specifically to be an urn. They also have urns made out of motors from Harley-Davidson motorcycles. They have them made out of fire hydrants. They have them made out of virtually cowboy boots, out of anything you can imagine today. If you can imagine it, chances are an urn can be made out of it, and we have that for you here. One of the things also that we pride ourselves at Carnes Brothers Funeral Home is that we are intricately involved in the community. We were born and raised here, my brother and I and our family, and we have participated and do participate in many of the civic organizations and religious organizations in town, whether it be Rotary, Kiwanis, or the Elks Lodge. There are many things that we are involved at here in town. We go to several different churches, jail ministry. We are just very involved in the community here. The Gideons International, those connections and those organizations we belong to offers resources that we're able to use and offer to the families that come here. It's through things that you know that you're able to offer, and we know and have access to many things and offer them to our family. Come with me now as we go into our chapel. Our chapel seats the largest amount of people of any funeral home in the county. We can seat up to 350 people comfortably in this chapel. It can handle any size crowd without feeling too cramped. You notice we have the high ceiling here, as we did in the lobby. That high ceiling brings comfort. We have the wainscoting on the wall, as well as the dental mold handmade and hand placed and hand painted in the ceiling by artisans. The chapel is lit with cove lighting that shoots up and down, as well as chandeliers and lighting in the cans that come down. The lighting can be adjusted for any mood that might be necessary. Our chapel also has state-of-the-art video system, a screen that comes down out of the ceiling to play movies and pictures that families will bring us. And I always tell families, the more pictures you can put on a video, the better, because pictures tell the story, and people love to hear the story, especially in pictures. We offer in our funeral home chapel very nice musical instruments, first-class baby grand piano, as well as an organ. We have people that can come in, musicians that can come in and play these for services, or families are allowed to play them themselves with a family member or a family friend who would choose to participate in the service. Something else that we have here at Carnes Brothers is morticians that are superior above superior. Our combined years of experience, more than 120 years, is unmatched at any funeral home in the area. We are hands-on funeral directors and morticians. When your loved one comes here, we will personally take care of it. Our saying used to be, Carnes Brothers Funeral Home, where the name on the outside is the same name as on the inside. When you deal with Carnes Brothers, you're going to deal with a Carnes brother. And we are very meticulous in our work, knowing that our name is on it. We treat each family like they are our own family, because in Galveston, it's a small community. People are well connected to each other, whether they are related by blood or through association, through church or school. It seems that everybody is some way tied to the other person, and it makes us one big family. It's really a very good situation for a funeral home to operate in, because you know the people that you serve, and it does mean a whole lot to a family to know the person they're dealing with. Our chapel also, this organ here in our chapel is made available for our guests. Some people still want a more traditional sounding funeral, and their churches use organs, and so this organ is made available for them. As I said once, their own family member or friend can play it, or we can have someone come in and play that for them. We still have access to people to play our instruments. One feature of our chapel that's very unique is this large crucifix. Father Emil Furlong, the pastor of St. Peter's Catholic Church, before his death left us this in his will. He was stationed in Rome, and while in Rome he came upon this crucifix. It's extremely lifelike, and brought it back to America from Rome and kept it as his personal crucifix in his home. When he passed away, this was left to us, and we were so proud to be able to place it here in honor of him. If you'll notice, in the same area we have curtains, and it can be closed depending on what religion a person is. Some people are more affectionate towards the crucifix, some not so much, and so whatever a family it should choose, that is available for them. Also, a feature that we have in here that a lot of funeral homes do not have anymore, because they don't spend the space on it, they feel maybe it's a waste to use the space in this way, is a family room. Our family room is laid out with some extremely comfortable furniture, so that a family can stay over here if they did not want to be in the chapel during the service. And more times than not, this is where the children can stay, so that maybe they're not out in the middle, and the families are able to greet their friends without having to worry too much about their children. Also, one very nice feature of the family room is that we have restrooms for the family right off of this room in this hallway here. They're fully handicapped, and right down the hall there is a coffee room where we have coffee and soda waters and water, and it's a place where people can bring refreshments for their guests while they're here. I do want to thank you for the time that you spent today with us. I know your time is valuable, but I hope and I trust that in seeing what we have to offer, that it might make you a little bit more comfortable when you have a need to come here in the future. Thank you for your interest in Carnes Brothers Funeral Home. You can reach us at carnesbrothers.com or call 409-765-8080.